All right, we're back. This is what you're calling transgender hate mail, homosexual hate mail, atheist hate mail. Basically, me reacting to a bunch of screen caps on YouTube and DeviantArt. There are responsive comments I made against these deviant lifestyles and a few other things. Trigger warning: if you don't like what I'm saying, go ahead, click off the video, and go watch something else. Do not lie and say there's hate speech for my videos, because there is no hate speech for my videos. It's speech you hate. That's different story. Let's continue on. People getting things wrong in these comment sections and me trying to train you out with bio versus basic biology, and then getting ticked off about that. Also, it's good to get vaccinated so you can stop the spread of germs. I got vaccinated for COVID. I got this T-shirt, and I got vaccinated for the flu. And both vaccinations make my body stronger against those diseases. It's important to do that. So we can stop diseases from making comebacks. Let's continue on with people getting these, with this Nazi forward fan art here. We have Amethyst looking very sexy, on curvaceous, in her beautiful outfit, black bra and little shorts there. We have the girl from Hoppers, the young girl from Hoppers in a sports bra and very skin tight. Sports shorts there, very nice. You have the Cole's mother from The Amazing World of Gumball showing off her body, all fully clothed in her normal outfit. We have Nicole and Tobias's mother showing off their bodies in their little bikinis there, very nice. Nicole's wearing a black bikini, dressed really well with a blue fur, and Tobias's mother is wearing I think a pinkish red bikini, which is very good for her kind of yellowish green skin. It's very interesting, and her different colored hair there, very nice. Pearl from Slat 2, looking cute as well. Get out of course. Let's continue on here, please. Someone said, "Man Fight Baby Mouse comments." Someone says Molly Bean is on IG and TT under the name Molly Bean's dad. I said, "Oh, that's cute. Keep it away from predators." I say, "Nothing makes a man more attractive than being kind and gentle." Her yawn was so cute. I'm so, here's the stream emojis. I'm so glad she found someone who will love her. And so it's someone, nothing, laughing to cry emoji. Nothing sweeter than a tough guy, tattoo man, taking care of a small animal. I have a question. Why in the world, Marathon Comments Part 1, why is it so small? I gotta find out what's going on here. I'm gonna X out. I'm gonna find out what's going on. Why is it so small? I want bigger pictures, bigger things. We're in Marathon. M. We'll get to those screenshots later. But my best friend too, coming in eventually. Marathon hate mail. Okay, we got a few of those. Yeah. Marathon hate mail. Double click. Refresh, reset. Okay, there we go. That's better. That's much better. My gosh, I don't know what happened, but it was so small. I could barely read the words. Now we're back. I had Marathon Hate Angry Review Comment Part 1. Angry Review or Hate Mail? Back up a bit. Nope. Yep, that's it. Marathon Angry Review Comment Part 1. I said Marathon had some good ideas, but they should have probably been in Destiny. Game over. Emoji. Game over emoji. Emoji. And so it's 2 reviews in a week. I think this feels like the old days. I like that one. Twizzler Bukake. Not what I expected. Yeah. So silly. Such a silly intro. At Cruise the Desert's next. The boys won't have time to rest. Doe is sniffing paint. You think $15 for red is bad? Wait till they come out with blue, lol. God, these skits are getting funnier and funnier, man. Best part of all the reviews in my eyes. And they're pretty funny skits. They're so silly. This one I think it was like you had Angry Joe and other Joe in masks, in white masks, and jogging suits, dancing around to the weird music of Marathon. So here, Marathon Game Hate Mail Part 1. I was like, is Marathon finally dead? It's crap all around, and even its artist copyright claimed. Angry face emoji. It was. It was. They had to credit the artist. They stole the art from. I'm sorry. But this is not the game you should be wasting millions of dollars on keeping alive. Okay? There are other games you should be using millions of dollars to keep alive. Like Destiny. That game should have been died in 5 seconds. No, Marathon should have died in 5 seconds. After it failed, came out and flopped, it should have died. Okay? And then been like, okay, it's dead. Okay, moving on. Whatever. Try the next one. Now, Marathon, trying to do that stuff. I'm looking forward to Horizon Hunters Gathering. Some people say because it's going to fail, right? Like, I don't know about that, but it looks way better than Marathon. These characters look way better. The gameplay looks way better. It's not just jumping and shooting. It's just running around as different characters with different abilities. I like that stuff, and I want to make games like that. We're going to story right now about stuff like that. Stat spread stuff. It's going to be great. I'll get on that very soon. But all right, I got to work on this. Let's go. Let's see here. Bungie itself is embarrassed at this point. Quite the fall from grace, if you ask me. Laughing to with a switch off emoji. So this game was over before it even began. Laughing to you cry emoji. Both Bungie and Reddit sucks. First, me hearties. Oof. Just what else? Marathon Halo Part 1. Marathon is dead. Killed by arc raiders in itself. Down cast emoji with sweat drop. The race to become Concord 2.0. Marathon or High Guard? High Guard. Marathon is Concord 3. So many concerns is Concords this year. You think they would try to do something different after seeing that, but oh well, most likely. Goodbye Concord 2.0 and 3.0. I really wish Marathon would have used the delay to steal a better art style that didn't look like Cyber Technor meets Tron in a crossover from an uptight art graduate. Concord, Marathon, High Guard. I can't tell the difference between these. You're sure I'm not looking at the same picture? I don't know. I like that one. I'm a big fan of advertising basic mechanics. Yeah, that's so bad. This isn't news, lol. This looks like a paintball field. I wonder how much they dreamed of pricing that rare, high-tier consumable. Bungie died when the people that made the Halo trilogy and Halo Reach quit the studio. That's just my opinion. Yeah, no surprise. That's what Halo 1 was in a nutshell from this timestamp. I'd rather do the seasonal and holiday events for Deep Rock and Galactic. And I say, this could have been an amazing story-driven game instead of what it turned out to be, angry ghost emoji. The trailer was relatable as a non-skilled PvE Care Bear. Seeing the protagonist of the trailer get clapped but still giving it to all their all was cathartic. Yeah, that was good. They should have led with that. Make it you, those people. Make you those people or working with those people. That'd be awesome. They said like, oh, you're just random jerks. Run around and grab stuff. Yep. Look, all the neon characters dead. Can't work in these cinematics are insane. They're supposed to be on Secret Level 2. Season 2 from Frog Blast, the Vent Core. This sums up my experience during the server slam. Getting killed over and over again. No. Rather than Halo Part 4. Man, if only this game was an offline single-player game with online multiplayer. Like Halo used to be, angry face emoji. They would have thought that Conquered-like was going to be a genre. Dr. Disaster gave a heart. Laughing to your cry emoji. Or rolling around emoji. A falling company that this really needs a huge enthusiastic audience. A failing company that necessarily needs a huge enthusiastic audience makes the most hardcore niche game imaginable. I find this level of ignorance and disconnect almost admirable. Wow, Bungie really nailed the entropic death spiral with this one. The Conquer trilogy will be completed. All we have to do is wait. Never spending money on a single thing made by Bungie ever again. Not for that Sunset Destiny DLC I paid for. Never again. Yeah, that's another reason why it's good to have single-player offline games. Because you put all that stuff in the games. And then you give it to them. And they have it. And then it's like, okay, we got to do stuff here for our multiplayer. That old stuff is gone. You can't use that old stuff in the new multiplayer or whatever. But you still have it. You can still use it in your own game. Well, that's something at least. It's still there. But it's to be like, oh yeah, that weapon's gone or nerfed or, whatever. Buy our new stuff. That's stupid. Let's go. They really should have given us a full game. Instead of just online multiplayer. They should have given us offline single player 2 angry face emoji. What's that? Yeah. They came, they saw, they conquered. How much time we got? Yeah, we got a little time. Let's go. So it says, game companies before, we're running out of money. Let's pour all our heart and passion into one last game before we close our doors. And since it's the last thing we do, let's call it Final Fantasy. Game companies now, we're running out of money. Let's make a generic game like there are so many out there, like there is so many already out there. Surely our brand name will save us from bankruptcy, and even after we've alienated our own audience for years to talk to them, to expect nothing good from us. Because Bungo killed all trustworthy already with Destiny 2, with claiming that over-delivering was a bad thing, which it's not. Meaning they would never deliver above expectations. With a mentality like that, you can only ever under-deliver. Having made expansions with only engagement loops in mind to try and force player attention instead of actual fun. Someone says they Bungie jumped at Concord. The Concord snapped. This is why I now only play single player games. When I say Suicide Squad killed Justice League, said stuff like Marathon is saying too. Yeah, they did. Wait till next season. Or else, I'm like, yeah, next season comes out, failed miserably. No one wanted the Jonkler. No one wanted Mrs. Freeze. No one wanted Kimball Air Lawless. No one wanted old man Deathstroke who misses guns. Well, some people did, but no, still. No one wanted we We wanted to play as the Justice League, and they're like, nope, you're not playing as Justice League. You play as these gnarly looking characters here that aren't nearly as good. Who you all use guns. There you go. Have fun. You remember that 10-year-old dream that was Anthem? Yeah. Or Halo Infinite? Yeah. Pretty sure Concord and High Guard said the same thing a week before they went under. They always say that even if they plan to shut down something 1 week later. High Guard had a 1 year roadmap too. It did. Laugh at your cry emoji. I support Marathon for the long run. Does that mean continue playing streamers to play it? Yeah. And I say every single live service, with all caps, every single live service game that is dead had year-long plans, not caps. If you want to make your game successful, put all caps, put all that stuff in the game at launch. Angry face emoji. Yeah, true. This is what Ubisoft said about X-Defiant before they pulled the plug. Lol. We are the only ones that see the writing on the wall. Yeah, we are. Concord was supposed to be an entire universe, part of Star Wars. Laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. That would have been awesome, but they didn't do it right. At least, this is the issue with me. Star Wars, when it released, back in the 70s, okay, it at least gave us 2 hours of story content. Was it the whole story? No. There was no beginning. You're already in this war. There's already stuff going on. We get to play as Luke, hang out as Luke, see Luke dealing with stuff, the droids dealing with stuff, Leia and Han and Chewie dealing with stuff, That's how it was. You had a fight with Darth Vader, things like that, or you saw him, there was stuff happened. They had a final battle with the Death Star. We destroyed it. It was destroyed. The Empire's still there. The war's still going. Darth Vader's still out there. It's like not the end. Wasn't the end. Or there was no beginning or end. But it was something. With Concord, it's like, here's a few scenes. But no, you don't see all of them together working together. You don't see them all going through a story, of some kind. We never really get connected to these characters at all because it wasn't about the story characters. It was about trying to get money from us. That's what it was about. And it's just like, that's not going to work. Sorry. That's all I got. See you guys next time. Check me out on YouTube with DeviantArt.